And that video is going to highlight some of the things that Dr. Dolly would be focusing on today. So thank you again for coming on the show. My name is Marvel. I'm glad that you can join us. Thank you. Okay, I'm told that the video is going to come up shortly, but let me just welcome those who are coming on again on this show. Now, remember, the show is proudly brought to you by Salad Master. Salad Master is that healthy nutrition company that was established, of course, in the year 1946. And so many people have actually written us to say, thank you, Salad Master, for bringing this show to us, because it actually addresses some of the questions that probably we cannot ask other people. And Dr. Dolly has been able to actually answer these questions personally on these shows. Now, this show is actually tagged Your $1 Billion Body for a reason, because we believe that our health is our wealth. And we believe that we should eat our food as medicine and not medicine as food. That's why we're bringing this show to you. And another reason why we'll partner with Salad Master to bring this show to you is because Salad Master over the years, since 1946, have been helping people change their lives. You see, if you change your diet, you can change your life, right? So Salad Master actually brings this show to you to help you change your life, build up your immune system to fight and prevent certain lifestyle diseases and also viruses. And in the previous show, like I mentioned earlier, Dr. Dolly has actually done an in-depth study of understanding COVID-19, right? Now, also, if you missed any of those previous editions, you could log on to our YouTube channel. We have the videos on there, and you can see all that transpired on that day, 2 weeks ago, I believe. So thank you so much. Guests on the call this afternoon, thank you very much for coming on this show. Like I assured you, it's going to be spectacular this afternoon. So write all your questions out, and we're going to have live pictures coming through to your screens now. So thank you again for joining. If you can hear me clearly, you can just type on that, because I can see some people typing that probably the audio is not so great. If you can hear me clearly, kindly just probably put a message to say the audio is great, I can hear you, so that we're sure that the streaming is right. Thank you so much again for coming on the call. We are so excited that you could join us. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. I can see lots of people saying they can hear and the audio is great. Thank you for that feedback. And like I said, you on this call today, you're just the right person for this program. You're just the right person for this call. Thank you very much for writing back. The feedback is great. Thank you so much. The audio is great. I picked that up. Thank you so much. Now, like I said, my name is Marvel, and I'm going to be taking all your questions today on this call. And right about now, we have pictures coming straight from the studio. We have pictures coming live pictures coming to you now from the studio. I want to say thank you again to Salad Master, our able sponsor of this show. I can see Mr. Tony, our well-renowned grandmaster dealer and anchor of this show. And also I can see Dr. Dolly looking amazing as ever. So I just want to check if they can hear me. So I'll just say, Mr. Tony, good afternoon, Dr. Dolly. How are we doing today? Can you hear us, please?
Very good. Good afternoon.
Fantastic. Okay, great.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, I can hear you, please.
Okay.
Okay, so over to you guys now in the studio. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on the call. We're going live to the studio. Over to you guys now, please.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Tony Bello. And I am Dr. Dolly. But Dr. Dolly has come and given us another show. Thank you, Dr. I love you. I think last week was amazing. Last week was amazing. Can you just remind them of last week in terms of?
Yes, but taking an in-depth look into COVID-19, the disease, what causes it, the symptoms it presents with, prevention.
I got a lot of good feedback. A lot of feedback. A lot of people unaware of lots of people wearing a mask for too long, the issue of how you protect yourself. They were very interested also about that nutrition and immune system be strong to fight. And some people even ask me, and they ask me your handle. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here. I say today, hello everyone. This very fresh episode of your video, you know that this body not human. So this shows that and is a very super welcome fit for royalty from us here in the studio to you out there, our much loved viewers. I am still your speaking host, Dr. Dolly, and this show is brought to you by our beloved salad masters, the king in cookware industry and nutritious. And our topic today is diabetes. Today we are dealing with the ABC of diabetes. Sit tight for an also.
Wow, the diabetes. No, there's so many people in Nigeria.
Roughly, we have like 3.9 million adult population.
And is that what we know?
No. 1 out of 4 doesn't. Now we are here to make sure it doesn't creep up anymore. Stops right
there. Sometimes I hear diabetes. Sometimes
it's going to be one of your life. Just sit tight and all of that. Everything you need to know about diabetes have been carefully researched and brought to you today. Now, let me start with a famous quote from a man I happen to admire so much, Tyler Perry. He said, "Everything that happens to you can work with you. No matter how bad or traumatic can work with you. Even sicknesses can make you resolve to be better, to overcome it, that comes to you. That's why you do. Now, let me give you. There's this famous athlete known as Magic Johnson. I remember when I was still in high school, he was one of the first prominent people to be diagnosed with HIV. But do you know what he said? He said, "I am going to beat good food and exercise." And guess what? He's still alive today, healthy. That's to show you that the fact that you're diagnosed with anything doesn't mean you have to sit back and watch it ravage you. No way. Fight it back. Still do something, and that is what we're doing. If you have any relative who has diabetes, if diabetes is in the family, if you are diagnosed with diabetes, whether it is newly diagnosed or you've had it for years, this right now, I'm going to tell you things that will be of benefit to you even before you step into it. Things that you can do personally to take care of yourself and prevent it if you don't have it ready. And if you have it already, to manage it very well so that it doesn't affect you.
I like to fight it.
Yes.
I like to fight it.
Yes. Oh yes.
Fight that.
Oh yes. Oh yes. We need to get some fights. So sit back. Now, first of all, before we go on, we'd like to know what diabetes is. Diabetes is not just one disease. They are chronic metabolic diseases that occur either when the organ pancreas does not produce insulin at all, when the body cannot use the insulin. So it means that it is a metabolic disease and it is chronic. Chronic there means that it's there when it comes, it stays for long time, if not for a lifetime. And what we call pancreas is an organ in the body that stimulates the hormone called. All the diseases called diabetes mellitus, they all share a common feature. And what is that? High blood sugar, or what we call hyperglycemia. Now, what do I mean by chronic metabolic disease? Let me break it down. Metabolism simply means when our bodies use digested food for growth, repair, and energy. That's just the process of using the food you eat, energy for growth, for repair, for disease. So it simply means that diabetes is a problem. It simply means that diabetes is a problem that you encounter when you cannot effectively use the food you consume, energy, nutrition. In the case of children, for good. Let's look at diabetes. Are you aware that diabetes is the seventh leading cause of death? Cause for concern. Everybody should be aware that such a disease is found and you need to be up your game. Don't let it creep up on you. Watch yourself. Act. Healthy living is an active thing. Cause something like diabetes in you. What kind of lifestyle am I leading? What is it going to result in? Now, also, do you know that more than 422 million people in the world today, 10.9 million of these people are in Africa? And let me bring it back home. In Nigeria, our Nigeria is said to be 3.9 million. Million is much, then 3.9, almost 4 million people in Nigeria are living with diabetes. Adult population, children with diabetes are not among this group. And the age range of the people who are living with diabetes in this country is 20 years to 79 years old. That is the workforce population coming down with us. And every 2 minutes in Nigeria, one person is diagnosed. Every single 2 minutes, people country, one person comes down with diabetes and diagnosis. And over 700 people are diagnosed with diabetes every single day. Multiply 700 with 365 days in a year. Roughly 255,000 people diagnosed with diabetes every year, plus the 3.9 million that already has it. Yes, every 2 minutes. People are being diagnosed in the hospital, the doctor will call you and call, talk to you. Prevent this trend. And the first thing you need to do is listen till the end. I promise you, you will get the thing. Now, according to global projection, not Nigeria, not Africa, according to global population now, said that by 2045, the diabetic burden in Africa is going to increase to 150%. Exceeds 100%. But more than. So we're not just that it's still going to increase. Ethanol is going to increase. And again, said that it is in the south region of Nigeria. Higher cases of. So we need to review the diet outside. Again, 1% of the people who are diagnosed with diabetes are found in the rural area, while urban dwellers have up to 5 to 7. Something the urban dwellers Now, the thing here, one, every poor person that has diabetes, they are not aware of that.
I mean, that.
There's more than this 3.9 million is the count of adults. There's like one diabetes that affects every children. Have more than that right now, and it's predicted to get worse.
When you say I mean,
no, they don't count because they are not diagnosed yet. And it hasn't started being symptomatic. Who about doing whatever they like, eating whatever they like. Let's look at what does it do to what happens to the body? What's the relationship between what you eat and the body that makes your blood sugar rise to the extent that we are now said to be have hyperglycemia? When you get, doctor now tells you about diabetes and how does it affect you? Let's say came home from work and dining room on your seats, table, there's set sumptuous rice with a yummy dish of yam porridge. But just bounced on it's coming from work, of course you're hungry. When you're done eating, it doesn't end there. Now, the yam or the very delicious rice that you just took goes down to the stomach where it is digested. Digested means turning it into smaller parts so that body enzymes. When they are now done, the carbohydrate which is contained in yam or rice down to little bits called now. Glucose in the blood is maintained through a very narrow range of 70 to 120 milligrams per day. This is the range. It doesn't go below, doesn't go. Now, when this happens, and when you just finish a meal, a heavy meal of carbohydrate, definitely. Now, the upper range shoots up from 120 to maybe like something, 300 and something. Now, when the sugar level rises in your blood, that means the food moves from the liver to the bloodstream. Now, this is the signal for the pancreas to release a hormone called insulin. Now, this insulin arrives in the blood and moves that excess glucose of the rice you just ate. Glucose came from the rice or yam or anything that is a carbohydrate in nature, then moves it from the bloodstream to the muscle cells, to the fat cells, to the heart cells. That is where we're going to now make those as the food inside the cells. Nothing happens in the blood vessels. That is why insulin is there. Let's just say that in a church, let's just say in a church, insulin, as you're coming in from the door, that is because the insulin ushers you. Okay, you go to the heart cell, you go to the muscle cell, and you go every other cells in the body that needs to grow, that needs to be that needs to be worked on, that needs to be nourished. That's what needs to be. And when this is done, when insulin has now moved out of the blood into the various cells, now the blood sugar becomes normalized. It comes in the range of 70 to 120 milligrams per day. Doesn't go below. Now, in the case of the diabetic patients now, because by default or something that we will look at later that causes your insulin not to be produced enough by the pancreas. When it is doesn't act like it is enough effectively, insulin is released or not released enough. So the blood sugar, the sugar in the blood is now there, not doing anything, not getting into the cells where it is used, right? And it's there in the blood vessel that the sugars are, they are not supposed to be there. So while they're there, they're causing trouble. But there's no space. So doesn't have more. Wherever they are in the bloodstream, they don't need to be there at that time. They are blocking vessels and they are making the blood to be thicker than normal so that the small arteries, people that supplies your eyes, bones, and those small high level of glucose. When it is on the way, that is what causes symptoms and signs. First thing one, the blood sugar in the high blood glucose of sugar in the bloodstream, saying when it is not wanted, and then the cells in the body, example, the muscle cell and the heart cells, witness it. They are not getting it because insulin is not enough. Present, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, not doing ushering work. So that is it. So the cells are suffering because of starvation, and the blood vessels are overwhelmed with blood glucose. What gives you facts?
What I'll say is, in my group, like, I'm sort of like, oh, I just is.
Oh my God.
What is it? Is just that is that something? What is it?
Diabetes or topic today doesn't say far from it. First of all, how you eat carbohydrate right? We're going to go in full detail when we're doing it. But for the interest of this question, first of all, the quantity of the carbohydrate in yes. Because in Africa, let me say Nigeria, how we eat. If you want to do white rice with stew or sauce, you will see a big bowl of rice. It's sprinkling, just few spoons, 2 spoons too much. They say you don't need too much. They will sprinkle it on top of the rice bowl. That's it. Whereas that is not the way it's supposed to be. I think we took this thing from our fathers and mothers who were not as educated and who were not as rich as we are today. So we don't need to continue that. First of all, now the way we do a dish white rice. Let me this is that was formerly what we used to. But now this is small, let's say 2 or 3 helpings. 3 is too much. 2 helpings of rice. You put 2 helpings, even 3 of vegetable. Right? You put sauce, plenty sauce. 2, 3, 4. Because it's in the sauce that all the minerals. Rice is a staple food. It's not supposed to take up all of. No, it's not. But it is the energy giving food. So it should be taken as such. If you have excess energy and you don't want it, you just gather calories. Or if you just want to use it for energy boost to do your daily activity, 2 or 3 seconds is okay. Then you put your vegetables, you put your sauce, and you can have chicken more than the rest.
What are you saying? The amount.
The quantity. That's not the only thing. But I don't want to run ahead of myself because we still have treatment. But then, let me just give you another point. Another point in avoiding diabetes is how you prepare the food. How you prepare the ground. How do you prepare the rice? And the third one, this one is what I call, let me just give you this. Another one is how do you the quantity, how you prepare it, and the third one is I won't give it to you.
Oh, giving them suspense. Giving them suspense.
I need you to have that suspense because it's very important. If you get it now, you might as well not finish it.
Just that's two. Look, we have rice.
Brown rice, that's rice. Oh my god. Very rice.
Some people say one. Just a must.
That is it. You come to the end of the show for you to get that. But let me just put it like this. White rice, same rice as powder rice has. But why it is now looks like it's really found the fungus a little bit, it has been processed. And in the process of distilling it, making it whiter and boiling it for the consumer market, so many of these ingredients. What gives it to the eye and what to want. Some of the ingredients are gone. And in its place, now you just have just go up to go in that. Now let's continue. What is this? I mentioned before for people to understand here that insulin is like church usher that ushers you to your seat, goes to the right. Then it ushers glucose. When sugar, insulin is insulin. Very good. Insulin, first of all, we have two types of food, anabolic hormones and catabolic. Well, anabolic is a building up stuff, catabolic is breaking. Insulin is an anabolic hormone, building up hormone that regulates blood sugar, making sure that it is not too low in the blood, not too high, because low sugar in the blood gives you hypoglycemia. High sugar in the blood gives you hyperglycemia. Which of them, both of them, we don't want it. We want it at the point that is good, not too much. That is easy. That's narrow weight between 70 to 120 milligrams per year. Not true. And where did insulin come from? Like I previously said, it is produced at the beta island cells of the pancreas. Pancreas is a head inside stream. Why? How does insulin always there in the bloodstream? No, not always there in the bloodstream. But once you are having a meal of carbohydrate and it is being broken down to glucose, that is the stimulus that coming out from the pancreas and knows that, oh, there's work to do. Again, insulin is also necessary for the uptake of not just glucose, but amino acids that is broken down protein. Amino acids also is recommended for uptake of protein, that is amino acids, into the heart, muscle, and skeletal. And then again, insulin makes sure that there is glycogen. Now, let's say that insulin is coming to take cardiac cells. And he notices that, oh, the cardiac cells have enough. does is it just comes and collects the excess glucose that runs into the glucose store or glycogen, stores it so that it removes it from the blood. Give way for other things to pass through the blood, and then store it just in case maybe you are not eating breakfast the following morning. Now brings out the glucose. And another one, it does that. It also synthesizes protein. Now, what I mean building or making, that is building, making. And it also does initiation of certain cells. Also, DNA is genes, does that. So this, and when we look at diabetes being hereditary and stuff, insulin, that's what I mean. And now insulin also is responsible for growth and development. Now, let us look at diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus, like I said before, and it has types. For now, we have the three main types of diabetes. First type 1 diabetes mellitus. Another type is type 2 diabetes mellitus. And the last but not least is what we call gestational diabetes, which is let's take it from Alright. Now, type 1 diabetes can also be called juvenile diabetes, childhood diabetes, or insulin-dependent diabetes. It is insulin-dependent. This kind of makes up about 10% of all the cases. Really not as much. And then it is characterized by absolute deficiency, which means this type 1 diabetes, no insulin comes out of the pancreas. You don't get to see pancreas. It is now, the patient is now dependent on insulin, exogenous insulin from outside. That is insulin given various forms, injection, and all of that. Patient is insulin.
I think you're having challenges hearing. Well,
Hello?
oh, yeah.
Hi, Mr. Tony.
You're having some challenges hearing us. So if you can just take a break. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Tao, can you do co-host so I can just bring my video up? Okay, thank you, Dr. Dolly. Thank you so much.
Let's take a little break. So please, it's important for you to hear us the information.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone on the call. Just because we want everyone to be able to get to hear clearly what Dr. Dolly shared with us this afternoon. We're just taking a short break, just a few seconds break, so that the audio is corrected. But I believe so far we have been having a wonderful time with Dr. Dolly talking about diabetes. She's talked about lots of things so far. Thank you, Dr. Dolly. Someone says, yeah. Okay, someone says, thank you, Dr. Dolly. Your microphone needs to be adjusted. Thank you for sending that in. And I think that's why this break is actually imminent. And that's what you're just trying to do now, so that we actually get 100% on this call today, right? So thank you very much.
Marvel, can you hear clear?
Is it clearer?
Yeah, better now, better now.
Sorry.
Hello, can you hear me, Marvel?
Loud and clear.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, Marvel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear.
Marvel, can you hear me?
I can still hear you.
One second.
Okay, so like we said, just trying to ensure that everyone gets 100% on the call today. Just a short break to ensure that the audio is better.
Hello, Marvel.
So
Just
thank
you
you.
know, I'm talking to you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, we're back again live. Marvel, just want to confirm that you can hear us live and clear.
Okay, I can hear you clearly now. Thank you very much. Dr. Dolly, you want to say something? Dr. Dolly.
Okay.
So
Can you hear me, Marvel? Okay. Now, as I was saying, we have 3 types of diabetes mellitus. We have 3 types. Now, the first type is the one we call type 1 diabetes. Second one is type 2 diabetes. And the third one is gestational diabetes, usually seen in pregnant women. Now, let's break it down. Type 1. Type 1 can also be called childhood or juvenile or insulin-dependent diabetes. It is usually seen in 10% of cases, and it is characterized by absolute insulin deficiency. What does this mean? It means that anybody who is said to have type 1 diabetes, the pancreas does not produce any insulin at all. So that's where the insulin dependence comes from. The patient now who is sick with type 1 depends on insulin that is injected into him by doctors to survive. It is that fatal. And it is usually seen in a younger generation. Causes of this type 1 is usually what we call idiopathic, which means it's not known. But again, some studies have shown that one of the causes is immune mediated, which means it is immune depleted. This immune system triggered by something attacks its own body, just attacks singles out the pancreas from the body and just attacks it, keeps shooting it until the pancreas is gone and it can't do its work of producing insulin and other functions that the pancreas has. So in this case, prevention is not known because it's what you know you can prevent. The prevention is not known. About symptoms of in this age range can suddenly come up in children or in teenagers within days or weeks. Yes, within days or weeks. This happens when your pancreas is attacked by antibodies from your body. That is, antibodies are like foot soldiers that is protecting your body against foreign invaders. Now the foot soldiers turns on the body, singling out the pancreas, damaging the organ, and then knocking off insulin production. The insulin, in these cases, in the people with diabetes type 1, we have what we call the honeymoon phase. What is that all about? It is about the pancreas, usually, before it dies completely, it has another amount of insulin. It secretes about insulin for 1 or 2 years. So that's the honeymoon phase. You think the pancreas of that person is working? No, it's been knocked out maybe like 2 years ago, but because of there were excess, nature tries to improvise. Nature tries to prevent harm. So it must have stored those kind of insulin in those patients so that the patient enjoys the honeymoon phase. Now, as the 2 years is tapering off,
the insulin diminishes. That's why the symptoms come down suddenly. Within a matter of days, a child you see jumping on around, next minute the child is weak, cannot talk. You're like, what is this? Some people then that we were not as enlightened and educated as we are today, you think, oh, yesterday she went to play in Sandra's house. Sandra's mother, I don't like the way she's looking. This child, I cannot. And before you know it, there's a real problem between you and somebody. The woman will be like, since their child came to my house to play, I don't know the attitude and the vibe she's been giving me. And you will never believe, how? They'll tell you the woman is innocent. No, she cannot be innocent, that woman. I'm looking at her somehow. No, she didn't do you anything. Take your child to the hospital for a check. It can just be that the child has just finished enjoying the honeymoon phase of diabetes type 1 and needs to be reevaluated. And the sooner this is done, the better, because if you waste time, the child is dying. Yes, it is as serious as that. So that's why I'm being that serious to tell you the way it is. So that is it for type 1 diabetes mellitus.
So with type 1,
Yes.
are you saying that it's from birth?
Yes.
So type 1's from birth?
No,
so,
it might not be from birth, because the pancreas of such a child might be working 1 or 2 years, but maybe because research is still ongoing about what something inside the child or outside in the environment triggers the antibodies to work against the body is supposed to defend and target just the pancreas alone and knock it off.
So, but you said there's this honeymoon phase.
Yes.
So if someone had type 1,
yes,
if the baby had type 1 or was
Yeah.
born with type 1, and they have the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
So obviously you're not going to diagnose that until after the honeymoon stage.
Until after the phase.
So,
yes.
so is it after the honeymoon stage when they are type 1, or is it even when they were born, they were type 1, but the honeymoon stage just gave them that?
Just gave them that.
That time.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to work out.
Yes, yes. Type 1, usually, some are born with it, some are not, due to autoimmune mediated reactions. This child might have been perfect, maybe inhaled or got in contact with some kind of fungal that will trigger this thing. Oh, there's something here we don't want. And they will look around in the body and say, it is the pancreas. Pancreas will be like, no, I didn't do anything. They keep firing until pancreas gives up. But before the whole insulin produced by the pancreas goes out completely for the symptom to now fully manifest, it will take like 1 or 2 years, depending. Okay. Some people, it can be 1 year, some it can reach up to 2 years before the full manifestation. Okay. But in case there's something that happens and the child is taken to the hospital before, and something prompts the doctors to check the blood sugar, right, you will discover that this young child has an amazingly high level of glucose in the bloodstream, which right. is not normal.
So basically type 1
yes.
is not curable.
Type 1?
Type 1.
Not yet. The cure has not been discovered, but the only thing we use in managing it is insulin.
Is insulin?
Yes.
Okay. So you have to be injected with insulin with your type 1.
That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
So type 1, and type 1 is usually early stages.
Early stages in life.
So you wouldn't find out that you had type 1 when you're 18. You wouldn't find that out, would you?
No, you would have manifested
because the
before
honeymoon
then.
period would have been over.
Yes.
For a long time.
That's right.
Yeah? So someone who finds out when they're 18 that they're diabetic,
yes,
the chance that it's not going to be type 1.
It's not going to be type 1.
Just wanted to.
Yes, that's right. At 18, at those later years, whatever, even if you have diabetes, it's likely not going to be type 1.
So at 18, it's likely to be one of the other types.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it's just one last question. I know that I'm just going on.
No, that's okay.
So type 1 is the only diabetes that you say you have to have insulin.
Yes.
Okay.
And the beauty about it is that nature made it in such a way that only 10%.
Oh,
only 10%. Okay. Yeah, they are not really much. Now, type 2 diabetes mellitus. This one, it's also called adult onset. Usually starts when you are an adult. That's when it starts manifesting. Or it can also be called non-insulin dependent, which means the patient doesn't have to get insulin, but the patient is okay. Yes, it's non-insulin dependent. And it occurs in 80 to 90% of cases, and we say, thank God. It is not because we are thanking God because it's a good thing to come down with diabetes type 2, but because it is a good thing because what you know the cause, you know how to prevent and how to treat. That is the beauty of it. And that is how it differs from type 1. Yes. So 80 to 90% of people who have diabetes are usually diagnosed of type 2 diabetes.
So this one is treatable.
Yes, this one's treatable. This one's treatable. So it results from ineffective use of body's insulin, which means the pancreas produces insulin that might not be enough to take care of the glucose burden, or it produces enough, but it is not effectively harnessed by the body. It can be a variety of things that can cause this particular thing. And also, it can be that the body produces just the right amount of insulin to tackle the glucose burden of the individual, but there's insulin resistance. Resistance is maybe insulin is doing its ushering work, staying at this other end and knocking. Hello, open up. I need to let in glucose. And the other person, the other usher at the other end said, no, we don't want you. That is what diabetes type 2 really is all about. Resisting the usher insulin who is bringing in glucose. So that is what happens exactly in diabetes type 2. Insulin resistance or inadequate production of insulin. Now, the symptoms here.
So who's at fault? Is it the person not opening the door or the person wanting the door open?
Well, both of them.
Oh.
Because something in the individual's lifestyle has triggered the ushers to be now. Ushers that were before working together. So and now are now at loggerhead.
So one believes that I don't need it. That means there's a miscommunication. There's a gauge. And it's saying I have enough. Yes. And one saying you don't have enough. Because,
the one inside knows that I don't have enough glucose, but in as much as I don't have, I still don't want
more.
Yes. So there's a miscommunication.
So that means the one inside is at fault. Because one
let's look at it that way. Yes.
Knows that he doesn't have enough glucose.
Yes, because insulin is doing its job.
Yeah.
Yes, and for it to come to you to say, hey, open up, it means you need glucose.
So the one outside is right.
Yeah, the one outside
the one
is
inside
right.
is stopping.
Yes, that's right. The one inside is a trouble, and that's what we're going to deal with. Now, type 2 diabetes formally is seen in adults only, but frequently kids, children are now coming down with this type 2. Now, you now see a child in the hospital. Before, if you diagnose a child of diabetes, it goes without saying it has to be type 1. But no. Because of the lifestyle we are now living, the lifestyle we're now introducing our kids to, the food they eat, and the kind of the world that they live in right now, they've started developing diabetes type 2 as well. So, but on averagely, the patients you see who have diabetes type 2, it ranges from 40 years and above, normally. But if not for a few here and there, children who are eating an excess of burger and all the processed food these days that are coming down with diabetes type 2 earlier than usual. Otherwise, the normal age of presentation or onset for diabetes type 2 is 40 years and above. Now, why there are so many things that can cause this diabetes type 2, but two main ones, and WHO is dedicating its activities and resources to dealing with them is just to excess body weight. Excess body weight. When you are too fat for your height, excess body weight. Another one is still under excess body weight, is still abdominal fat, excess abdominal fat. You can see someone, person doesn't look fat, it's kind of trim, but the tummy is big. That is another big cause of diabetes type 2. And then the other one is inactivity, the lounging, Netflix and chilling, the 2020 generation.
I like Netflix.
God.
Don't mention Netflix. Just say watching TV. Yeah.
Watching TV. Okay. When you watch TV, you binge on television watching. Your life of remotes.
Okay.
Remotes for AC is just here. You press. TV is here. You press. You want food, you press bell. Yeah, they bring, you're munching. Oh, what a fantastic show. You are eating chocolate, burger. This pizza is not tasting well. Is there no? Get me more, get me more. And then I need a soda drink. This drink is spicy. Bring another, bring another. You have like 5 cards. Okay, or maybe you're watching football. Oh my God, this team is winning. Sure. This one, you will not realize that time is passing. You have just stayed on one spot for 3 hours, 4 hours, from this show to this show. You put a reminder. You are finishing this show, the reminder for this one is beeping and you're watching, you know? And then when you get up to go, what happens? You just walk, that's the door. You enter the car, you're driving. Oh my God. You don't take a walk, you don't go to anywhere just because there's car. Wow. Even when you want to go just outside the gate, you enter the car. The car is there, there's fuel. You move on, you know? Yeah. You don't do anything. If you see people on the road who are jogging, these people, what are they doing? Is this, does it really work? Like, let me just say, like the other day, I went to a gym, I was gymming. I was on the tricycle, I was cycling, I was already getting tired when a very large woman just walked into the gym. Said hello, I said hi. She now said, what are you doing? I said, I'm exercising. She said, really? I don't think that thing works. I said, which thing are you talking about? She said, I don't think the cycling works. I've been on this thing. In fact, it's a joke. I said, joke? Wow. Wow, that's going to extreme. She said, it doesn't work for me. I said, maybe you have not been consistent enough.
Wow. Yeah.
You don't do today and not do tomorrow. Exercise should be a lifestyle. So 2 things, let's not deviate. 2 things that makes us come down with diabetes type 2 is 1, excessive body weight and inactivity. And the thing about diabetes type 2 is that the warning signs are mild. You wouldn't know. It starts with, oh, I'm tired. Yes, anybody can feel tired at any time of the day. Oh, hunger, been eating too much. Those are signs of something really sinister if you're not informed and if you're not watching. So you should look at that and see, oh, this is going overboard. I'm getting too hungry too frequent these days. I'm getting too tired too much and I've not done anything strenuous. So you need to look at those ones because the signs of diabetes type 2 are usually mild. So if you're not careful, if you're not attentive, you will miss it.
Wow. So this one's a big one. Because it's 80 to 90%. 80 to
90%.
So yes. What the doctor is advising that we watch our weight.
Yes.
Yeah, and watching our weight, I'm taking means that we need to think about what we're eating.
Yes.
And also at the same time, look at exercise, activity, like you said.
That's right.
And like you said, people, especially in Africa, in Nigeria especially,
yes,
we're used to air-conditioned homes.
That's right.
And then we jump into our air-conditioned cars. And then we go into our air-conditioned office. Yes. And then we go through the whole process and then we come out.
Yes.
And then we have our food in air conditioning and then so on. And I think, we need to, like you said, we need to do something different.
Yeah.
But somebody will say, why I do that? Because security. I can't go for because I'm too popular.
Oh, yes.
Or I'm a politician.
Yes.
Yeah. So I need to run. If I run, I have to have a whole entourage. But like you said, there's the gym.
Well, there's a treadmill.
There's a treadmill.
You can have treadmill in the house. Yeah. You can still be in the house and be active. It's not every time you call on the help to get you this. You can just little thing as getting up to fix a little thing for yourself, as getting up to get the remote control, as getting up to get something from the fridge. Those are activities. Engage in activities. You can sweep your house instead of letting people do that, paying cleaners to do it. You're paying cleaners to be fit.
Okay.
And why you're not? So those are the little things you need to do. And then there's this culture of Nigerians that I need to point out. Even when we go out with our friends to have fun, to recreate, you don't see them. You just go out on a restaurant or a sit out, just have round table. You see the table full of drinks, full of all sorts of food. You are eating at home, you are eating outside. Our form of entertainment over here is food. Don't eat too much. Nature didn't design the body to be eating food or having food ingested up to 20. Some people eat 20 hours a day. No, at all.
You know what I find is I used to eat lots of food.
Okay.
And you find it, I used to think it was not polite when somebody gave you this much food. I thought it was not polite to leave the food on the plate.
Oh, okay.
So even though you're full,
okay,
you eat more, isn't
Yes.
it? Because you want to finish food.
yes.
And also sometimes the food is so sweet.
Oh,
It's so sweet, that jollof rice, that fried chicken.
Oh my
And
God.
it's so sweet that you're full already
Yes.
and you're still wanting to eat more
Yes,
because
I
of the
know.
flavor.
I know
You
the feeling.
You know the feeling. So
I'm full,
so-
but my eyes like what it's seeing,
So-
and it wants to go
so
for
you can't
more.
blame them all the time. But one thing I'll say to you is you mentioned people are getting fat. They're having these like extra fat around the
Yes.
belly.
Yes.
Now, how do you know you're fat? How do you know you're fat? Because some people have big bones, large bones. They say, I've got large bones, that's why I'm big,
Yes.
Or some people say, I'm not fat because I'm slim,
Yes.
And some people are slim. I've seen some people that are slim that are diabetic.
Yes.
So what does somebody need to do to go and find out whether they're big
Well, the only thing you need to do is,
or overweight?
yes, go into a hospital, let them check your weight and your height. With your weight and height, we arrive at what it's called your body mass index. And that is when you know whether you're underweight, normal, overweight, or obese. So anybody whose body mass index is greater than 25, you're overweight.
Wow. That's
Yes.
something that the doctor will tell you.
Yes,
So you just go, it's body mass index.
body mass index.
Does that work for children also?
Everybody.
So the family could go to the doctor and
Yes.
say, I want to find out whether we're healthy.
Well,
Whether we're
we're
healthy weight.
Are we overweight? Are we obese? Are we normal? Are we underweight?
And like you said, once you know it, you can do something about it.
That is it.
But the problem now is people don't know about it, so they're just carrying on doing the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
if you
Wow.
happen to watch this show, or if you know someone who needs to hear this, you tell them to log in, subscribe, and get
Fantastic.
information that is beneficial for their health.
And like we said, today is about understanding diabetes.
Yes.
And maybe tomorrow is about treatment
Oh,
and
yes, that
prevention.
is it.
So
because-
today is warming us up.
Yes, today is warming us up, getting you energized, getting you informed, and telling you why you need to do this. Tomorrow, the treatment comes and the prevention comes, and you'll be asking, oh, why can't I get a cleaner to clean my house? No, you can. But the thing is, if you can do stuff around the house, keep yourself busy and active, that's okay. So the thing here is, don't purposely live an inactive life. It is detrimental to your health.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Lo.
The third type of diabetes is what we call gestational diabetes. For those of you who are familiar with the word gestation, it just means pregnancy. So now when you hear gestational diabetes mellitus, it just says that this is high blood sugar or hyperglycemia above normal range, but below that, which is diagnostic, and it's found out during pregnancy. Prevalence of women, you can't see a woman and say, you are type, you have diabetes when you get pregnant. No. It increases with age. If you get pregnant and when you're in the age bracket of 34 to 44 years old, you might, it's not a must, you might come down with diabetes type 2. But if you've been living healthy, taking care of your health, I don't see why you can't get pregnant and not come down with it.
I'm going to say something obvious here.
Okay.
I don't need to worry about it.
You don't need, no, you don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
But guys, they don't need to worry about gestational diabetes, but you get to worry about it for your children.
Yes.
Yes.
But I had,
Let's look.
the word was I.
Oh yes, I.
Yeah.
No,
don't need to
it
worry
is
about
not
Okay.
something that the
Okay.
male folk
Okay.
has to worry about.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now this in pregnancy usually this insulin or form of there's kind of insulin, there's some form, not totally, some form of insulin resistance in pregnancy, and it usually comes in the middle or the tail end of pregnancy, which you call the second trimester or the third trimester of pregnancy. That's when you start noticing insulin acting up. The ushering work is not doing it well. It is during the second and third stages of pregnancy that you look at that very well. Now, the beautiful thing about gestational diabetes is that it resolves after pregnancy. Yes. Any woman that was not diabetic before getting pregnant, and during pregnancy, doctor tells you you have high blood sugar and you're being managed as a gestational diabetic patient. When you deliver, it usually disappears. Yes, it does. But during delivery, or during pregnancy, a woman's blood sugar can travel through her placenta to her baby.
Oh.
Yes, that's why you need to be very careful, because it's not just affecting you, it's affecting the baby while you're carrying it. So when it travels through the placenta to the baby, it is important to protect that child, because it can affect the child's growth, it can affect the child's development. And one of the things that we are always afraid, that is, health practitioners are always afraid with women who has gestational diabetes or diabetes before getting pregnant, is that they usually have multiple miscarriages or the babies will die.
Oh no.
Yes, inside
No.
the uterus. Yes.
No. But
so it is really something to be worried about. Every woman should do everything they can not to be diabetic in pregnancy, not to come down with gestational diabetes. And even if you have diabetes before getting pregnant, you will work closely with your doctor and health and caregivers to make sure that your blood sugar is brought down to normal before embarking on pregnancy journey.
so this is not type 1.
No,
This is not type 2.
no.
Yeah. So this is type 3.
This is gestational
So
diabetes.
they don't call it type 3.
No, it's not
They call
called.
it just. But
yes.
which group does it fall into? Does it fall into type 1 or type 2? Because we always hear type 1, type 2.
Yes.
So therefore, is this a type 2 diabetes?
No.
Because it's
No. It is neither type 1 nor type 2. Why? Because in gestational diabetes, it is manifesting in the mother and in the baby at the same time.
Right, okay.
So which in each case, type 1 and type 2, there's no second party. It's just in you. Hold on. So the way the tiredness of a gestational diabetic patient will present will be different from the tiredness of someone who has type 2 diabetes will present. So is a class, is on a class all by itself.
Okay, so my question then is this. If a lady is type 2,
Yes.
and they become pregnant,
Yes.
does it mean that they will now have this gestational diabetes?
No.
So, so even if you're a lady and you are diabetic type 2,
Yeah.
you can still have a normal pregnancy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, if you're already pregnant, if you're already diabetic before getting pregnant, what we call the diagnosis this one carries is a chronic diabetic in pregnancy. The woman is chronically diabetic, not caused by pregnancy, but was diabetic before even becoming pregnant. And what you will do is, for you to scale through, because it's already a high-risk pregnancy, for you to be diabetic and pregnant, the pregnancy is termed high risk. So your own going for antenatal is not every 1 month like every other person. No. You need to work with your doctor. You can even be going every 2 weeks, every week, every day, depending on how severe your own is.
So, okay. So now what you're then saying then is you can be not diabetic as a lady.
Yes.
As a woman.
Yes.
And then during pregnancy,
yes.
you can now have gestational diabetes.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But one of the things you said earlier was that you need to try and avoid having gestational diabetes during obviously pregnancy.
Yes, yes.
How do you avoid that?
Yes, we'll get to that.
Oh, that's
Oh yes,
treatment
we'll
and
get
prevention.
that's a whole range
Treatment
of
and prevention.
topic on its own. We'll get to that.
Okay. It's
Now,
interesting.
there
But
is
one last thing. Sorry.
okay. Okay.
One last thing. Yeah. Type 1.
Yes.
If you are type 1 as a lady,
Yes.
now is it likely when you're pregnant
Yes.
that you are likely to have gestational diabetes?
No. The thing, okay, let me put it like this. When you have type 1 diabetes, when you have type 2 diabetes, it doesn't go in pregnancy, it doesn't disappear. It follows you to pregnancy. Now, the management in pregnancy for type 1 and type 2 now becomes different. Gestational diabetes is only for women who were never type 1 and never type 2. But all of a sudden, during second or third trimester of pregnancy, your doctor says, you have high blood sugar. You're like, doctor, this is my first time. I've never had diabetes in my life. That is when you're now diagnosed as having gestational diabetes, which will also resolve or disappear when you deliver. Yes. Both during the pregnant state, the baby, the gestational diabetic patient is carrying could be affected. Yes. And any woman who has ever had gestational diabetes, there is increased risk of complication during the pregnancy and during delivery.
Right.
Yes. And then the mother can come down with diabetes type 2 in future, and even the kids.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the cause?
Of gestational diabetes?
Yeah. What's the cause?
First of all is insulin. Now, trying to be, there's a, somehow, it's, how do we put it? It's resistant. It's a part of pregnancy, which after pregnancy, you don't get to see it again. If you now actively get active in your life and get informed about diabetes and say, oh, my doctor told me during this last pregnancy that I might come down with diabetes in the future. Now it lies on me to prevent it.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, it's a big one.
It is.
Big one.
It is.
Thank you.
Yes. Now we are done with 3 types of diabetes. There is a state also that we call impaired glucose tolerance. What is this stage? This stage is what we call pre-diabetic states. Pre-diabetes, before diabetes, before full-blown diabetes comes, it gives you warning. And that warning is what we call the impaired glucose intolerance or the pre-diabetic state. Let me define it. Impaired glucose intolerance is defined as glucose levels of 100 to 125 milligram per DL in fasting patients or after 75 to 100 gram oral glucose tolerance tests. So in this condition, the blood sugar is high, but it is not high enough to be termed that you're a diabetic patient. No, it is in between normal and diabetes. It is just in the middle. And you can actually do something to prevent it from going into full-fledged diabetes. Now, without intervention, without you intervening in pre-diabetic states, it will likely develop into diabetes type 2 within 1 to 10 years. You see the window that nature provides for you to live right so that you don't come down with this chronic metabolic disease. If you are pre-diabetic state, it can be up to 1 to 10 years before full-blown diabetes is noticed in you. So the good news about impaired glucose intolerance is it is reversible. Or even if you must come down with diabetes type 2 because maybe it is in the family, it runs in the family, it will be delayed. Instead of you having it at 40, you can have it at 55 because of the good lifestyle habits and practices you picked up and you are consistent with. So going forward, when you have glucose impaired glucose tolerance, what we advise is change of lifestyle. Change from not so good lifestyle to a healthy lifestyle.
So you got a chance to repair.
Yes, you get a
What,
chance to.
10 years.
Yes, 1 to
Wow.
10 years.
1 to 10 years.
It's ranging because the amount of assault you give to the body, if it's too much, your own might just be 6 months.
Right.
Yes. Or if you are just doing, maybe eat junk food, when somebody takes you out, you eat it very, very well. Your own might just be like, maybe like 5 years because they might not be taking you out all the time, you know.
Okay.
That's the way it is. Now we are looking at the risk factors. What is it about me that diabetes will happen to me, not to the other person? Nothing, no. There's nothing. Just look at your lifestyle critically and tell yourself the truth. What is this I'm doing that this person is not doing? Or what is this person doing that I am not doing that will predispose me to diabetes mellitus? And the sole aim of your billion-dollar body is to prevent you from not having it. So the people we're going to, or the things we're going to talk about right now, the risk factors are if you know you have it or you have someone who have it, now know that you need to do something to prevent yourself from coming down with diabetes. The first risk factor is, for those people in type 1, it has been shown that it might be viruses that are causing the immune system to turn against itself and attack the pancreas. It must be some viruses. So how do you prevent this one? Just run away from infection. Good, healthy, clean hygiene. Be clean up because we never know how the virus is like coronavirus. Wash your hands. It goes for every kind of virus. The food you eat, before you take, wash it very well. Your food, prepare in good hygienic places. Your house, clean it once a week at least. Your bed sheets, watch them. All of that, because viruses are everywhere. So it's when you give them the atmosphere to thrive, that's when they will thrive in your body. And some of those viruses, you might just see that, oh, this child has come down with fever, and some viruses, they usually go on their own, usually mild. So they come down with fever and nothing is done. You don't know that that fever that the child presented has triggered something in the body that is going to attack an organ. And if we're unfortunate, the organ happens to be pancreas, insulin is gone.
Right.
Yes. So that is it for type 1. These are those risk factors. So viral infections in children can be, is not yet fully proven, but it is under study. And in the blood test for every person who has diabetes type 1, we have seen signs of autoimmune attack on the person's blood. When you get a type 1 patient's blood and take it to the lab, you will discover autoantibodies, which means body antibody attacking the pancreas, which means it's real and there's something that is triggering it, which we have not found out yet, which we can find out through research and anything. So when that is being found out or when that is exposed, we will let viewers know so that they know what to avoid. For type 2 now, and okay, still on type 1, if your parents or your brother, sister, auntie, uncle has diabetes type 1, you are likely a candidate. So the earlier you start avoiding overweight and being active. When also type 1 also occurs in people who are younger, like we said, 20 years and below. That is the age range it usually attacks. And it is more in white people than blacks. Yes. So this black skin, you see one of the benefits. It actually gives you some kind of cover for diabetes type 1 instead. So it comes also, you can see diabetes type 1 if you have somebody that has vitiligo. Vitiligo is the skin disease that comes with discoloration. This part is white and this part is black. People who have it, it might come with diabetes as well. Right. Yes. Okay. So those are the risk factors for type 1. If you're white, if you're younger than 20, if a family member or your parents, sibling, uncles have diabetes type 1, or if you have all the time frequent viral infections in children. Those are the predisposing factors for type 1 diabetes.
Does it mean that type 1 is hereditary?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so if both your parents are type 1, does it mean that you are going to be type 1?
It doesn't need to be both. One.
No, I'm just saying. Now I'm looking at
Okay.
1-1.
Okay, one,
Sam,
one. Okay.
Because if both of them are type 1,
Okay.
then in theory,
Yeah.
that would mean that you are type 1.
That will mean that there's high possibility of you not escaping type 1.
Okay.
Yes.
If one was type 1 and one wasn't, then
You
there's
can.
a higher
Yes.
possibility that you're not.
Yes, that you're not.
Going to
Yes.
be type 1.
Yes.
Type 1.
That's right.
Yeah. And what's the science behind? Is there any science behind the fact that it's more prevalent in white people? Is there any science in that?
No, it means
just
that
basic.
no, it means that they are more exposed to some viral infections that we are not. Maybe due to weather variation or temperature variation in the continent. I don't know what it is, but it means that they are exposed to more antigens or allergens that make their bodies to attack itself. Yes, there's something in their environment or they inherited also that triggers that reaction. Yes.
One question I was going to ask before, this gestational diabetes.
Yes.
If a lady has it during pregnancy, and you said you can pass it on to the child.
Yes.
Now, if the child gets diabetes through this gestation,
Yes.
does that mean that that child has type 1 diabetes?
Yes, most likely.
Or is it type
If he
2?
manifests as a child, it's likely going to be type 1.
Likely. But it's not.
Yes.
Not conclusively.
Yes, not conclusively. Or it can also be type 2, depending.
Yeah.
Yes. If gestational diabetes, if your parents have type 1 diabetes, you will likely come down with type 1. If they have type 2, you can. Because when was it? In the hospital, like 2 weeks ago, I met a very young banker, engaged to another banker. When I was taking her history, I discovered she was 23 and diabetic. I was like, what's... And she wasn't overweight or anything like that. So I went on asking, why? Why did you come down with it? What happened? She told me that both her parents have type 2 diabetes. And she was in the hospital for a surgical procedure. And thank God it went well because she's educated and she is she's, how do I put it? She's on top of the game. She goes on to actively engage her health caregivers in prevention and treatment of her diabetes. If you see her very healthy looking, you will never know she has. So I was even advising her, maybe she will get a bracelet alert so that people will know, because she doesn't look sick, doesn't look like anything.
Right,
she looks so healthy.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So those are the things. Now we were on risk factors for diabetes type 2. Now, type 2 is, thank God, is something that we can prevent. They said the first thing is if you're living in the urban area, urban dwellers. We living in Lagos, we live in Abuja.
In the city.
Oh my God, we live in America, we live in London. Where are they? So many of them. Name the urban cities, you know. People like that. They are number 1 risk factors for diabetes type 2. So what is it that is in the urban area that is not in the rural area? What is it? What do we do differently from the people in the rural area? Because it's the same food we eat, or is it? So what is it? Fine. What I noticed from this is that, first of all, people in the urban area have more money. And with more money comes the privileges of money. One of the privileges of money is that you can actually have helps. Yes. People who watch your cars, people who clean your house, people who do grocery shopping for you. And now, this era that you do delivery, you don't even need to go for shopping anymore. You just press tap laptop on your phone and it's at your doorstep.
But they worked hard. They worked hard for the money.
Nobody takes it away from you, but it's unfortunate to say that kind of lifestyle might be predisposing you to diabetes type 2. So what we are saying in this one is Enjoy all the privileges you've worked for. By all means, you deserve it. You worked for it. But what we are saying is, don't lounge too much. Have time for exercise. Have time for activities. You have money, so it doesn't have to be whenever you take the family out, you're going to an eatery to eat. No, you can do family's game day. Go out for a picnic, go do volleyball with the family. You don't need to eat, just have drinks. Active, do something that will make you sweat. Go on a treadmill. Swimming is a very good form of exercise. Swimming. Some of you who have swimming pool, that's fantastic, because people in the rural areas don't even have access to pools. So use it to your benefits, to the benefits of your body, of your health. Those are the ways you can curb it while you're still living and enjoying the luxuries of urban dwelling. You are still staying healthy.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a lifestyle.
It's lifestyle.
So urban is a lifestyle. It's the lifestyle of
It
urban
depends on the life you
triggers off
live
the risk.
when you're in the urban area.
Yeah.
Yes. Because some people also who happen to be privileged in the rural areas might still fall prey to it if they don't actively pursue the healthy living. And the second point here is physical inactivity. Like I said,
Exercise.
everything is remote controlled. Everything is at the press of a button. It's here, it's done. We neglect exercising our body. We neglect indulging in physical activities that will make you sweat, burn fats, burn calories, and be a fit, healthier person.
I suppose if somebody has the money,
Yes.
so they can buy the help, they can buy the car, they can buy all this. You know, I think what I would say is that you're saying to them, find alternative ways of having exercise. If you don't want to wash your clothes, pay for someone to wash your clothes. But the energy energy you use to wash your clothes, you should have. You go for a run.
That is it.
Or go and do something exciting.
But
just burn that energy.
Go for anything that will make you sweat.
Do entertainment. I would say to everybody out there, you know, listen to Dr. Dolly. She's saying, look, don't think that energy should just stay there. Don't store that energy. Go out there and do exercise. But you can still hire a house help because we need to employ people.
Yes, of course.
We need to employ people. We need to make sure, because I'm scared. I'm scared because some people are scared of their jobs, the house helpers, the drivers, and so on. So you know what? Keep your drivers, keep your house help, but just go and do things. Keep fit.
Just make the body sweat.
Exactly. That's the language I want to hear.
Make the body sweat.
So I can keep my house help.
You can keep them. Keep your drivers, keep everybody, but make the body sweat.
Okay.
Yes. So that is it for physical inactivity. The third one is advanced age. Naturally, when you're getting older, insulin starts being resistant. The body starts resisting insulin. So maybe it's tired of that particular usher. It wants a change. Who knows? But if you help it, that's where activity is very important. If you're active and you are eating right, it helps reduce the chances. You can go through life, you won't even know what diabetes is all about.
I like how you say advanced age.
Advanced age.
So what age is advanced age?
40 and above.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm advanced.
40 and above. Okay. Just know that this is real. We need to move. We need to actively jog. We need to actively engage in exercises, you know, engage in activities that will make you sweat. That's it. Okay, so the fourth one is unhealthy food. We cannot overemphasize that. If you take a close look at what we have here, this is what you call healthy living, healthy food, healthy eating. I don't think anything here predisposes you to diabetes. It is now when you come down with diabetes that doctors will now start telling you, this has too much sugar, you don't take this, you don't take this. But if you have been taking it before like this, nobody will tell you what to eat and what not to eat. So healthy food, we include fruits like we have here, vegetables, salad, real food like rice, but in reduced quantity, Quantity you take matters a lot also in feeding. Yam is good, yes, even if you have diabetes. When we are doing the treatment, we'll tell you how to cook the yam, what amount of the quantity to take so that you still have your yam and still manage your diabetes right. Then the food that we call unhealthy are basically every food made of white flour is not healthy because the white flour itself has been processed. In the process of processing the food, nutrients are spoiled, nutrients are lost. So any food that is baked, brown bread, they contain processed food. So in other words, how you go around that is still quantity. Quantity. If you need to take bread, take it. But what quantity are you taking? So any food that is made of white flour, any food that is processed, food that we call junk, all the pizzas, the shawarmas, the hot dogs, all of that, those foods are not good. They are not good. They are not good. So when in the process of living healthy, nobody is telling you not to taste them at all. No. When 90% of your food is healthy, you can use 10% and indulge. Indulge in anything that makes you happy, that makes you good, that makes you want to taste something that is sweet, provided 90% of your diet is healthy. You can use 10% to eat whatever it is you crave, or what we call comfort food. You can use your 10% to do that. Now, another point is risk factors. Remember, we're still on risk factors for diabetes type 2. Another point is sugary drinks and sodas. Sugary drinks, sugary food. Some people, when they have something like donuts, because donuts is processed, they'll still sprinkle sugar, white sugar on it. Sugary foods, even some coffee are sweetened by sugar. All of that is what we are asked to look at. All these frizzy drinks, frizzy sodas, things that whenever you open it, you feel it sizzles. That is carbohydrate that was suppressed inside the bottle. When you open it up, it gives you that what do you call that sizzling feel. You now feel, oh, it makes the drinks refreshing and makes you want to have more. That is the caveat. So those kind of drinks, they are not good for your health. So you can swap those kind of drinks with juices, natural juices that were not added anything in it, like chemicals and stuff. You can do your smoothies, blend all these fruits. You can turn it into a smoothie and you drink it. It's healthy, it's natural, it's nutritious. You can do so many things. You can do what we call the infused water. When you get a can, you add water in it, and inside the water, you can just cut open a lemon, apple, cucumber, pineapple, and infuse it into the water. And you carry it all day and you sip it. That is another healthy drink. And above all, the best drink ever is water. Water. Just plain old water, It is the best drink there is. Now, another one is ice cream. Ice cream is good, but it shouldn't.
Ice cream.
Yes.
Oh, feels good.
Ice cream is good, but it shouldn't make up to 80% of your diet. That's when it's bad. But if you eat healthy, 90%, and once in a while, because you love ice cream, you can have it 10%. Have it at occasional dessert once in a while. It doesn't do you any harm. But the amount you consume of those kind of foods that I mentioned, it is what makes it bad. No food on its own is too bad if you eat it in moderation and with caution. Another one is intake of tobacco. Where do we take tobacco? We have tobacco in cigarettes. We have tobacco in some kind of colas, bitter colas and all of that. We have it. So tobacco, it is what is emphasized in every text about risk factors in diabetes and even in its prevention. Intake of tobacco. So please, 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 tobacco is not what's the stress of diabetes. Find something else. Instead of you doing tobacco, you can do coffee. You can do, what is it called? Cocoa, the real cocoa. Just swap things. You can have food swaps. Swap the unhealthy with the healthy. Swap the unhealthy with the healthy. If you do it this way, then you can run away from diabetes. Another one, as we said, is obesity. And obesity comes from physical inactivity. You're just in, the obesity is just input, when the input overwhelms the output. But you need to, people who are fit, people who are trim, they eat, of course. But the thing is that once they eat, they're burning out. So their inputs, their output is more than their inputs. That is the best. But when your inputs, you're eating, you're on a suffer, you're watching TV, you're on your laptop, you are surfing the net, you're doing this, you're on the phone, you are not doing anything. And right there, how you know that you've eaten is you'll be eating and eating, you won't even know you're doing something is distracting you. Then when you get up, cups are flying, plates are flying, plastic spoons are flying. That's when you know I've really done some work here. I've really sat on a place and I've ate. So when you do that, that's when obesity sets in. But when you eat and you burn, you eat and you burn, and you eat basically healthy things, you're not going to be obese. And if you happen to be obese right now, talking to me, don't be sad, don't be overwhelmed. Something can still be done. If you start today, start now and give yourself targets. Be at it, exercise, eat well, consistently. Over time, results will show. But I have to warn you, it is not going, the results will not show immediately. So when you are embarking on an exercise or weight loss program, patience is the watchword. Patience, patience, patience.
Wow, wow. So because it's a big one, you've got a lot of risk factors there.
Yeah.
And also, I think from listening to it, you are what you eat, you know, and you are what you do, you know.
Simply put.
Exactly. That's
Simply
it.
put.
Okay.
So another one also is increased abdominal fat. Whenever there's increased abdominal fat, there is insulin resistance. Whenever there's increased abdominal fat, there is insulin resistance. And then because the abdomen doesn't have, well, it has a wall, but that wall tends to lax. It is because of lack of activity or exercise, it lacks easily. So when it's lax, it's hard for the elasticity to come back. But if you keep at it and be consistent about it, you will not increase abdominal fat. And two ways that I have interviewed, I've gone to gym, I've sought out opinions of those people who have trim tummy. I say, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you keep healthy? Don't you eat what we eat? Are you not in this planet with us? Or you don't eat carbohydrate? How do you do it? Now, the two things that kept coming up that were consistent in their advice is one, avoid eating carbohydrates at night. No carbs after 6 p.m. or even 7 p.m. That is it. And even when you need, okay, I'm tired, I didn't eat all day, you still eat in a little quantity. That helps. And then the second one is exercise. Exercise, exercise, exercise. That is the way it is. First thing I said is what? To avoid abdominal fat. First thing is no carbohydrate at night. Your night, you can start your own by 8 p.m., but preferably the best thing is 7 p.m. Even if you need to do, there are some healthy carbs with low glycemic index and low calorie foods you can eat at night. Nobody is stopping you from having cereals, cornflakes. It's still carbohydrate, but it's light. If you feel so hungry, you can have, instead of having rice, which has higher glycemic index, you can have spaghetti and still reduce the quantity. But the best thing is all the carbs you need to have it during the day. Why? Because during the day, you are moving, you're working, you're engaging in this activity or not. And whether you know it or not, you're burning them. But at night, when it stays, it piles up. Insulin will come and do its work. Yes, you have given it glucose. It gets to store it in the liver. And when you're storing it in the liver, a time comes when it moves beyond the region it's supposed to be and is bulging your belly. Another thing I noticed in Nigeria that gives men now, not women, men now bulging bellies is alcohol. You are going to drink alcohol. Hi, you and your friends will stay. You will finish 12 bottles. Is that not one crate? That is one crate. You will finish it and be telling your friends, my head is strong. No problem. If your head is strong, is your tummy strong? So please, balance it. Social alcohol drinking is not bad. I didn't say that. I'm not saying that, and I won't say that. Alcohol is actually very beneficial for the heart, especially red wine. But if you don't like red wine or you cannot afford red wine, by all means take alcohol. But please, please, please don't overdo it. Don't do it too much. If you take it too much, that's when it becomes a problem. Another reason why Nigerian women, now I've talked about men, why Nigerian women develop abdominal fat is pregnancy. After pregnancy, the women will develop huge abdominal fat. And if care is not taken, it might not go down. So how do you avoid increasing abdominal fat after delivery? How do you do that? That's a whole range of topics that we are going to deal with actively tomorrow. Okay, we're going to deal with it actively tomorrow. So I want all the mothers in the house, all the would-be mothers in the house, please call your people, tell them to tune in tomorrow because we are going to deal with postpartum fat or post-delivery abdominal fat for women, how you deal with it, because it not only distorts your shape, it predisposes you to diabetes type 2. And like you know, this program, it is called Your Billion Dollar Body. So we need that body to be tapping. We need that body to be on top. We need that body to be good. So therefore, we are going to be dealing with decreasing or making the abdominal fat after delivery and after pregnancy to be reduced. That is all for the risk factors of diabetes type 2. Now, we now go in to take the risk factors for gestational diabetes. Like we said, gestational diabetes only appears or occurs in women who were not previously diagnosed of being diabetic. Neither were they suffering from type 1 and neither were they suffering from type 2. So in this case, you're clean until you got to pregnancy. You're now pregnant. First trimester of pregnancy, nothing. Then second trimester or third trimester, doctor comes and tells you your blood glucose has been consistently high, and we can now say that you have what we call gestational diabetes. So let us look at it. Who are those people who are predisposed or who are at a higher risk of developing diabetes during pregnancy? Let us look at this. And this list is made up by the Diabetic Association of Nigeria. Number one, so it is really an in-depth study in gestational diabetes was done in Nigeria, and this is what the researchers came up with. That people who might likely get diabetes during pregnancy is 1, in your previous pregnancy. Maybe this is your second child, but you remember that in the first pregnancy, doctor told you that you had diabetes during pregnancy or gestational diabetes. If you had it in the previous pregnancy, you're likely going to come down with it in your future or index pregnancies. Second, family history of type 2. Type 2, I didn't say 1. If your mommy had diabetes, or dad had diabetes, or your brother, or your sister, or an identical twin, or your mom, or your mom's sister, your dad's brother, or your first cousin. Those are the immediate family. Or grandma, granddad, they had diabetes type 2. Watch yourself. You might likely have diabetes in pregnancy. So when you are pregnant, watch what you eat and watch your activity level. The third one is pre-pregnancy BMI. What is BMI? Body mass index of greater than 25 kilogram per meter squared. If you go to the hospital, tell them, every woman that goes for antenatal, you will see, they will tell you during the vital signs for your first antenatal visit, they will tell you, oh yeah, climb on a scale. They will check your weight and they will check your height. What are they checking for? They're checking for your body mass index, so that things like gestational diabetes does not creep up on a woman who has registered for antenatal in a hospital. So those are the things that women who register for antenatal enjoy, that those people who don't register don't enjoy, because so many diseases can creep up to you unawares, and if you don't have a medical personnel or caregivers taking care of you, you can come down with it. But if you are registered in a good hospital for antenatal, they will be looking out for these signs that will say that, oh, this woman is about to develop this. No, we can't do this. We'll prevent it. So I'm also using this forum to encourage women to go for antenatal. It is actually of utmost benefit to you. Now, the fourth one is birth of a baby greater than 4 kg.
4 kg.
Yes.
4 kg. How much is that in pounds? That's like 4 times 2.2, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's like 9
pounds.
9 pounds.
That's a huge baby we're talking about. Wow. And surprisingly, I was on duty and 2 women were in labor at the same time. One actually gave birth. She started laboring earlier and gave birth quicker. There's another one. As the baby comes out, as the baby tries to come out, it goes back. It tries to come out, we were tired. The mother was screaming. I was like, this one is normal labor pain. When the baby was born, we now knew why. We carried the baby to the scale. On weighing the baby was 4.1. Vaginally delivered. That's almost a miracle, but it happened.
4.1. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So it kept on coming out and going back in?
Yes, because he was trying to navigate the birth canal.
Okay.
It is too small for the canal, but eventually nature made it and it happened.
Fantastic.
But the thing now, I called the mother. I said, you are in the position to have diabetes type 2 in future. Typical of Nigerian women, she didn't take me serious. I had to go to her husband. I said, I won't let her have this, not under my watch. This is what I found out. It is on me as your medical caregiver to let you know what I found out. Now I've done my part. My conscience is clear. It's now up to you to know what to do. I even forwarded Salad Master's cookware for the woman. I said, you need to actively prevent it. Don't go home doing that. I just gave birth, I can eat. No, you can't binge on any kind of food right now. You need to watch yourself for the future. And I hope she takes the advice and does something quicker before it develops to full-fledged diabetes. Then, if you might not know you've been having gestational diabetes, but you have been having recurrent miscarriages. You conceived in 2013, it miscarried. 2015, you got pregnant, it miscarried. 2018, another pregnancy, miscarriage. You don't need to sit at home. You need to actively check. How is my blood sugar during pregnancy? What is going on? This is a sign or risk factor that you will come down with gestational diabetes. So when you're having recurrent miscarriages, you are the carrier of the pregnancy. You need to be fit to carry any pregnancy. So check with your health caregivers. Am I is this a risk factor for me? If yes, what can I do to prevent it? That is how a woman who is educated, who cares for herself, who cares for her body and her future should be thinking and acting. Another one is stillbirth. You got pregnant, first trimester, no problem. Second trimester, you start having stuff. Nothing happened. And then third trimester or even late second trimester, you go for a scan and it is checked. They scanned, the baby's heartbeat cannot be picked. Doctor will now tell you, madam, there's something we are seeing in this ultrasound. Why don't you go and come back while we scan later? And on further scan, there's still no heartbeats, which means the baby has died inside the uterus. We don't know the mechanism that it happens, but women who have had stillbirths may develop gestational diabetes in subsequent pregnancies. Another one is neonatal death. Neonate is a freshly delivered baby. Your baby is good. It has been good all through first trimester, no problem. Second trimester, no problem. Third trimester, you have even done your baby shower. You have done the pregnancy photo shoot. Nothing happened. Labor day arrives, you are there with your family, your husband, everybody comes into labor room, you deliver. And the baby cries, 1 or 2. Within a day, 2, 3 of giving birth, this baby dies. This is a sad event. And the thing is that it doesn't just come on its own. It has also risk factors like gestational diabetes. So if you've ever had neonatal death, that is a baby dying within days or 1 week of delivery, you need to check yourself in another pregnancy to check if you've come down with gestational diabetes. Another risk factor for developing gestational diabetes is if you're what we call grand multipara. Grand multiparity is nothing more than a woman who has given birth to 5 children, and this is your 6th pregnancy. You're high risk already. So, and you're already predisposed to having gestational diabetes. So your caregivers need to be proactive about your management, preventing gestational diabetes. And if it's discovered that you have it, taking measures and actions to ensure that your baby doesn't come down with any defects, as well as you, the carrier. Another one is polycystic ovarian syndrome, what we call PCOS or PCOS. Women, this diagnosis is made only through ultrasound. When you're scanned, your doctor will tell you there's cysts in your ovary. That is the big drama around it. This cyst in your ovary is it didn't just end there. It comes with other whole gamut of other diseases, one of them being gestational diabetes. So when you are diagnosed with polycystic ovarian disease, as an educated person, you should be able to tell your doctor the day you are resuming an antenatal, I know that I am predisposed to having gestational diabetes, and I don't want to have any adverse effects from it. Doctor, I just want to let you know. The doctor will be so impressed, you know. Then another risk factor is, another one is how you know this is glucosuria in pregnancy. When you are pregnant and you don't have any of these diseases, but they tell you that when you do your urine test, they pick glucose in the urine. How the normal palate here is glucose in urine, you have glucose in urine, and then you have your BP is raised. You should flag up a warning sign. This is not good. This is not good. Raised BP, glucose in urine consistently and you are pregnant. Watch it. You might likely come down with gestational diabetes when you get to 2nd or 3rd trimester. Now, of all these things we've done, we would like to do the clinical features. What you see, which is a whole lot, what you see when you come down with diabetes. So let's make it snappy in order not to bore you, because we're going to come back tomorrow for the treatment and prevention. So clinical feature, type 1 and type 2, they have the same signs and symptoms, but type 2 has milder symptoms. Number 1 is hunger. You feel hungry. 2 is fatigue. You're always tired. Why? Because the glucose are in the bloodstream. They're not in the cells. They're not giving you the energy you need. The other one is polyuria. What is polyuria? Too much frequent visiting of the washroom. You're always going to ease yourself. Normal person eases themselves 4 to 7 times a day. But if you are presenting with diabetes and you don't know about it, you will be going to ease yourself up to 15 to 20 times a day. Is that bad?
But,
yes.
But just to be cautious on that one. When I drink water.
Yes.
The water never seems to stay in your system long enough.
Yes.
But I know
right.
when you drink something like Coke,
yes,
it stays there longer.
Yes.
Now, if you're drinking water a lot,
yes,
are you likely to frequently go?
Yes, if you're drinking water a lot, then you know this is the problem.
Okay.
I'm always drinking it, so I'm always passing out. But if you have not drank water, the last time you took water was during breakfast. Then before breakfast to lunch, you've gone to ease yourself for like 10 times. That's a warning sign. The next one is thirst. You will always feel like drinking. You will drink. You will drink. You keep drinking because the high blood glucose in your bloodstream is making you thirsty. You keep thirsting. You keep drinking. People in medical school, we used to say it as a joke. When you keep thirsting, we say, do you have diabetes? That is one of the symptoms. Another one is blurred vision. When you're looking, something that you should see, I'm not seeing it well. What is happening? What is happening? If you don't have eye problem before and you are not an old man or old woman, you have no problem having blurred vision. If you do and it's persistent, provided you not put any mascara in your eyes or anything like that, if you don't and you're having blurred vision, then it is a sign that can lead you to diabetes.
But isn't that also, because you said that diabetes appears when you're advanced age.
Yes.
But doesn't your eyesight deteriorate?
It does.
When you're advanced age.
Yes.
So couldn't it be a confusing thing that if I'm old and I'm getting blurry?
Okay.
Is that linked to diabetes or is that linked to the condition in terms of
Yes, I understand your question. Now, your question is, old age comes with blurry vision. So if I have diabetes and I happen to be old, could it be due to old age or just due to diabetes? Fine. Diabetes is one of the causes of blurry eye vision in old age. Right. You find out that people who don't have diabetes at old age might not have blurry vision. Old age is not synonymous with sight problems. Right. Although it can be because your lenses are getting weak and all of that. But then the kind of blurry vision, let me make it clearer. Blurry vision can be a sign or symptom of old age or other diseases affecting the old or the aged. But in the case of diabetes, or it is said that it is, most of my patients describe it as hazy. You're looking at the sky, it's like a mist in front of your eyes, but there's no mist. Yes. Okay. That is how you can differentiate between the blurriness of other causes and that of diabetes. Like there's a wool on your eyes and it's making you're not seeing things clear. Right. That is it. Another thing is infections, yeast infections. People with diabetes usually come up with those kind of infections. They come up with skin infections. They come up with urinary tract infections. In fact, diabetic patients are known to have lowered immunity or immune response to infections. So this happens. They have gum disease, skin disease, urinary tract infection, every kind of infection, they have it. And usually they have yeast infections as well. Because why do they have yeast infection more frequently than the rest of the population? It is because yeast feeds on glucose and there's excess glucose in the bloodstream in diabetes. So the yeast is having fun. Now, another one, you will know that you have diabetes if you have a cut in your hand. Maybe there's a radial cut or something. You grazed your hand on a doorknob or something like that. Okay, fine. Okay, you're bleeding. You're supposed to go after a day, 2, 3. But in diabetic cases, it doesn't go. It is there. That's when you know this is not normal. I'm not supposed to have unhealing sores, then you need to go for more investigation in the hospital. Another one is unplanned weight loss. You have been at home, you've been on the overweight side, and you are not actively dieting, you're not exercising. Even if you are not seeking to lose weight, you're just exercising to be active and maintain your weight. But in this case, you're getting lean. People see you, you're commenting, they can even tell you have emaciated. No. That kind of weight loss is sickness caused, not healthy. So when it happens, diabetes is one of them, might be the cause. So on further investigation and stuff, it will be unraveled what the cause is. Another one is pain or numbness in the leg. Diabetes targets nerves. Your nerves are targeted. So it will go there and target it and numb it so that when you're walking, you can even step on a nail in diabetic cases and you don't feel it. It is that bad. It can get that bad. When that happens, it's only when you see that you are bleeding. That's when you know that you've hurt yourself.
Wow.
It can be a case of diabetes. Another one is nausea and vomiting. When you feel all the time, feel like throwing up. Even when there's no trigger, you want to throw up. And sometimes you can even go and throw up. All these are clinical features or signs and symptoms of diabetes. Another one is hypoglycemia. What is hypoglycemia? Hypoglycemia is when glucose level is below 70 milligram per dl in your blood, which is too low. It's too low. Now, how does hypoglycemia present? When you're said to be hypoglycemic, this is another clinical feature of diabetes mellitus. You start shaking. You see them. Diabetes patients, they often shake. You start getting nervous or anxious. Hey, what is happening? You start getting jumpy. Those are signs that the glucose level in you has decreased. You start sweating. You're under AC, you're still sweating. You're getting chilly, you're getting clammy. That is a sign of hypoglycemia. You start getting cranky. Whatever, say, hi, who's doing that? Why are they banging that door? Things that doesn't concern you. You get overly angry about things. Another one is you get confused. We ask you something. Where did you keep the pen? You say, is it not downstairs? Is it upstairs? I can't remember. That's a sign of hypoglycemia. Then another one is impatience. You start getting impatient. Have you seen someone who is hungry? They don't do whatever you do, let them get to food. That's one of the signs. Another one is when you're getting lightheaded or dizzy. Now, this kind of dizziness is you are standing in a place and the world is turning. The world around you is turning. That's the kind of dizziness you get in hypoglycemia. And then another one is you feel sleepy because the brain is not getting adequate oxygen. So it wants to shut down momentarily. So it's always making you go to sleep. Another one is weakness. Of course, if you've not eaten or your body takes diabetes state as a hungry state because you have this, it's true that glucose is in your bloodstream, but it's not in the cells where it will be needed. So it feels hungry. So you come up hungry. Another one is headache, of course. Everybody knows when you're hungry, you have headache. Blood vision, like I said before, then your heart is beating faster and then you're not coordinating. If you see staircase, before you get there, you want to climb, but you've not reached it. You're lacking coordination at this point in time. And then...
So all these, I mean, there's so many features.
Yes,
so many features.
so
So obviously tomorrow we're going to be doing a lot of stuff because obviously time.
Okay.
But tomorrow, I mean, if somebody has one or two of them,
Yes.
How do you, I mean, you might have one of them.
Yes.
You're not automatically diabetic, are you?
No,
It's
of
just
course.
it's just one of the things.
Hunger is a normal human feeling.
Exactly.
So when you're
Yeah.
feeling hungry, I didn't say that every hungry person is diabetic, of course not.
Yeah. So it's just like signs, like
Yes.
looking out for.
When you're looking at, when something happens that is out of the natural phenomenon, you now know that there's something wrong.
Yeah. So that's a great way to wrap up the show, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow. So obviously, you can finish up there.
Okay. So with that, we had to go today, but that is as much as we can take today. But I promise you, tomorrow is going to be more informative, more insightful, more enlightening than whatever it is today. So this is the groundwork for what is going to come up tomorrow, because tomorrow is what can I do? This is here. I've seen the signs, I've seen this. So what can I do to be better? What can I do to prevent this? What can I do to live better? So on that note, I like to say thank you. And if you have any questions, you can put it up for us. We will deal with your questions very well. And don't forget to subscribe and like our YouTube channel. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dolly. And as you heard, Dr. Dolly, tomorrow is going to be amazing.
Yes.
It's going to be fully packed with information
Yeah.
that's going to help. I think today we understand diabetes. I understand diabetes now. I understand it more
That's a
than
good
I did
one.
before. So well done. But tomorrow, obviously, we're still finish off with some understanding, I take it.
That's right.
And then we go on to the big one, which is the treatment and prevention. And that's what a lot of people are thinking, saying, wow. You know, and then we look at, obviously, Dr. Dolly has given us some signs of, look, you can eat yam, but the way you prepare it is important.
Lord.
And really, I'd like to say thank you very much, Dr. Dolly. Thank you very much for our sponsors, Salad Master.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for Excel Region and the dealers in the Excel Region, Nigeria. You know, and that's me, and that's
yes. We say thank you so much for
Thank you.
making this
Thank
happen.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
And that's it. And that's me. And good night. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.